Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Strings Attached with Dr. Mark Goulston. My name is Ken Sky. I'm the producer, and I will bring on Dr. Mark right away. Before I do, please note that this is currently live. So we'd love to hear from you in the chat, in the comment section. Let us know that you can see us, hear us, and let us know what you think. And if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Without any further ado, please welcome Dr. Mark Goulston. Hello, Mark. Nice to see
Hello,
you.
Ken. It's always good to see you, and thank you for viewing. One of these days, we're going to actually schedule these so you'll know what time we're going to do these. So welcome to another episode of No Strings Attached. This is where my guests and I will be giving you tips, and we hope they fit this criteria so that when you hear them, you think to yourself, I never would have thought of that, and I can use it today. So I want to speak to you today about elevator pitches. But before I get into that, I want to also tell you that our first guest is going to be starting in the near future. We'll be able to let you know what date that will be. And it's going to be none other than Marshall Goldsmith. And I'm so excited to have him on as a guest because he inspired No Strings Attached. You may or may not know this, but Marshall has something called the Knowledge Philanthropy Project. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know Marshall. I've known him for several years. And the Knowledge Philanthropy Project is where he and his friends and colleagues give away their best ideas. That's why it's called Knowledge Philanthropy. And those ideas are great. And he's going to be on the show as our first guest sharing those ideas. So, but what I'd like to share with you today is an idea about your elevator pitch. Most people I know, when they hear the word elevator pitch, they go, oh, here we go again. I hate elevator pitches. And I've become a student of elevator pitches. And something that I've noticed is when either I'm doing it or someone else says, I do this or we do this, as soon as the word I or we leaves a person's lips, the gut feeling of the other person is often, here it comes, here we go again. It's just a knee-jerk, unconscious reaction. And in fact, people, when they say, I do this or we do this, you've probably heard of something called the imposter syndrome. And so a lot of people, when they're the ones saying I or we, they often get a twitch inside saying, here comes the imposter. And so I want to share with you something that I actually learned from one of my mentees, Alicia Dunhams. And if you don't know Alicia, you need to find out about her. And she has something called Bestseller in a Weekend. But just look up Alicia Dunhams and you'll find out more about her. And she's the one who shared this with me. So instead of saying I or we, when someone says, what do you do? And you might say, well, I'm supposed to say I or we. You don't have to. What you say is companies, people, clients hire me, hire us, buy our products, buy our services, when, in order to, so that. So those are the prompts. Companies, people hire me, buy our products or services when, and you're hoping that when coincides with a when they're having, in order to, so that, and the so that is the result. So my LinkedIn profile is always evolving into what it is that I'm moving towards. And if you check out my LinkedIn profile, what you'll see is that we help already successful people distill their purpose and land in their future. So my elevator pitch, if someone were to say, Mark, what do you do? Or what does your company do? I would say already successful leaders hire us when they believe that they were meant to do things much more and much more meaningful than what they're already doing in order to identify their purpose and live into their future with it so that at the end of their life, they can say to themselves, I gave it my best shot. And I've been coaching people and I've been, what should I say? No, I can't say that. Groups have hired me to help the people in the group who have to do elevator pitches. That's the when, in order to create an elevator pitch that's compelling so that they engage people instead of turning them off quickly. That's a mouthful, but if you practice it, it'll become more natural. And Ken, let me ask you, if you're able to do this, I would love you, and Ken doesn't know we're going to do this, but this is what coaching could be like. So Ken puts on amazing virtual events. So if you can think aloud for me and our viewers and our listeners, so maybe you can fill in Ken Sky Unlimited, and you could say companies hire Ken Sky Unlimited when, in order to, so that what?
All right. Well, thanks for the surprise, Dr. Mark. It's always a pleasure because you never know what's going to happen. So I appreciate that. So let me try this. And this really hasn't been rehearsed. So, well, here we go. Companies hire me when they're ready to put on a virtual event where they want to avoid this sort of engagement. In order to change situations, in order to have their attendees change from this sort of engagement to this sort of engagement, from painful to powerful. And then we'll skip this part here so that we can break down the walls that separate us and we can have a deeper connection with the audience and a more lasting impact afterwards. And if this is a business meeting, a much higher return on investment.
Now, I got to tell you, if you're viewing this, he didn't know I was going to pull this on him. That was unrehearsed, and that was perfect. Let me ask you, Ken, when you said that, did that feel different than if someone were to say, what do you do when you were to go, I do this such and such, and we do such and such? Did it feel different at all?
Absolutely.
What was the difference?
The difference is, well, it's uncomfortable. I mean, at least for me, it is in the moments when people ask me, so what do you do? And if as soon as I catch myself with the eye, I mean, I'm aware of that. And it's like, darn, how do you back out of this, right? Because we're so used to this. The difference I feel is I'm able to help and I can share that without the focus being on me. It's about what we can do for you, for the client, and the results that it brings without putting the ego in there. So because we all have it, and it's just a matter of finding a better way to present it. This is genius. I love this. Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Mark.
Boy, you've listened well, Skywalker.
Skywalker.
You know, as you were speaking, I was thinking, we've often heard advice to companies and consultants, focus on the problem you solve. What's the problem you solve? And I think by using those prompts, when you say companies or individuals hire us or engage us or buy our products or services when, you eliminate the I do this, aren't I terrific? You eliminate that, you get the ego out of that. And the when is you tee up the problem you solve in order to, and you talk about what the solution of the problem will look like so that, and then you focus on actually the benefit of solving the problem. So if you practice this, I did a program with a wonderful accelerator program, one of the top accelerator programs in Southern California called Expert Dojo. And there were about 12 startup companies, and we went through this exercise, and it was awkward at first, but by the end of it, they were all feeling more relaxed because it really takes your ego out of it, which is something that many people feel uncomfortable with. It gets right to the problem, it gets to the solution, and it gets to the outcome, all with 4 simple prompts. So I'm going to end with those prompts. And you can watch this over again. And you can use those prompts. So next time someone asks you, what do? You say, companies, clients hire us, hire me when, in order to, so that. And with that, I want to thank you again for tuning in to No Strings Attached. Hope you found that helpful. We'd love your comments, and I hope it fits the criteria that I'm setting for my guests, which is, I never would have thought of that, and maybe that'll work. And maybe you would have already thought of that, but I will tell you, when Alicia Dunham's bestseller in a weekend shared that was my reaction. I never would have thought of that. And you know something? That could work. So until next time, take good care, and please tune in for our first guest episode with none other than Marshall Goldsmith. So do you want to take us home there, Ken?
I will. And but we got to talk about payment first. So for those of you who have this need to give Dr. Mark something for the wisdom that he shares, here's one suggestion. Share the show No Strings Attached with your friends, with your colleagues, so that we can help more people, because you never know what's going to come out of Dr. Mark's mouth when he opens it. And I find for myself that every time I get to learn something new, and you could help us greatly by helping us spreading the word, whether it's on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you're at. And we will hopefully very soon have a more scheduled routine where you can then also look forward to this live and come with your questions. And Dr. Mark is always helpful and might be able to help you fix your elevator pitch or whatever your situation is. Thank you, Dr. Mark.
Thank you. No, but I have to say something, because you just made me a little nutty, Ken. This is the No Strings Attached thing. And there's going to be some people and say, Dr. Mark, that was a string attached. We don't have to share this. You don't have to share it. But if you find it useful and you think it'll help someone else, please feel free to share it. Thank you, Ken.
My pleasure. And I appreciate you saying that. We do have a comment here. Cliff says, thank you, will and have shared. So thank you, Cliff. We appreciate that.
That is great. Wait, there's a Cliff, if you're still there.
Cliff Wilson.
Cliff Wilson. No, Cliff has been a fan. Cliff, if you're still there and you're willing to, can you write down, using the prompts, companies, clients, people hire me when, in order to, so that.
That's a great idea, Dr. Mark. And because there's a bit of a delay from the time that you say this until people hear that and do it, why don't we take that a quick few seconds and give us just a bit of a teaser? What can we expect from our show next? It's the next week or in 2 weeks with Dr. Goldsmith.
Well, Marshall Goldsmith is filled with nuggets where people say, I never would have thought of that, and that would work. And to Ken and I, that's the best kind of information, hidden in plain sight, things that you can use immediately to make your life better, make you more successful, make you more effective. So I hope you'll tune into that, and we'll be releasing when that time is scheduled. Thank you, Ken.
Yes, indeed. And so for those of you who watched this video in hindsight because you didn't catch the live show, I would encourage you to still write down your pitch inside the comments so we can see what you do. And I think it'd be a great place to do. Would that be okay, Dr. Mark?
Ken, you are more than a producer. You are a godsend. Yes. Please try it out. Write in the comments. And also, as people see the comments, they're going to be able to click on your profile and it'll give you a chance to practice it. So please write in the comments, companies, clients, individuals, hire us, me, when, in order to, so that. So until next week, take us home again, Ken, and then I'm going to keep, and I'm not going to interrupt you this time.
Oh, I will, though. We just got a response from Cliff. We got to read this now. He says, Companies hire me to find water assets to fulfill needs they have.
That's good. Yeah, that's actually concise, but I think that's fine. And Cliff, thank you. And to be honest, it feels better than say, I find water assets to help people fulfill needs they have. I love the way that sounds. And Cliff, thank you for participating. And I hope you like the way it feels.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And until next time.